Well, joining us now on Encounter is actor, writer, director, and producer, and I'm sure a very familiar face to many of our viewers. Ricky Schroder is with us. He's here to talk today about a documentary series he's involved in called My Fighting Season. Thanks so much for being with us, Ricky.
Thanks, Kevin, for having me.
Now, if you could tell us a little bit about My Fighting Season. This is a sequel to The Fighting Season as well, is that right? And this is sort of a continuation of that, but from a different perspective?
That's right. The Fighting Season was told from my camera's perspective based on time I spent in Afghanistan in 2014. My Fighting Season is told 100% from the helmet cam footage that soldiers filmed of themselves on their own missions and combat patrols in Afghanistan.
Okay. And talk to us about what made you decide to do this My Fighting Season and The Fighting Season as well. What got you involved in this, and how did that all come about?
Yeah, sure. You know, the Fighting Season, when I was in Afghanistan for 4 months capturing the footage there, I would oftentimes see soldiers on missions that were wearing helmet cams, and I was always very curious about what they saw, what they experienced, because, you know, I could only go certain places when I was with the Army in Afghanistan. But, you know, these other soldiers were going places that I couldn't go. And so I came home and I thought, wow, you know, I'd really like to see what some of those guys saw. And so I reached out to some of the soldiers that I'd known, and I asked them if they had any helmet cam footage and if they knew people, other soldiers that had helmet cam footage. And, you know, at first some of them were leery, but then when they understood the goal of the project, which was, you know, to tell their story in a true, honest, raw way, I started getting hard drives. And we got, you know, many hard drives with hundreds of hours of footage, and I was just amazed at some of the footage I saw. You know, the courageousness, the humor, the love between the soldiers, things like that, and the raw, gritty combat that I'd never seen before. And that's why My Fighting Season is so important, I believe, because us as civilians, you know, so few of us understand what it is soldiers do, and how they do it, and how hard it is, and what it looks like. That, you know, when we thank a soldier, sometimes it rings hollow or empty to them, because you're thanking them for something that you don't even understand. But My Fighting Season will actually give you an insight into really what it is and how they do it. So when you say thank you to them, they're probably going to say, "Did you see My Fighting Season?" And if you go, "Yeah," they'll probably go, "Okay, then you get it."
And we want to stress too that this is, like as you're saying, it's real, it's raw. This is, you know, not like a reality series. These are real experiences that happened.
That's correct. It's not a reality series at all. It's a documentary series.
And tell us maybe some of the things that viewers might be surprised when they're watching this. Some things that might pop up that they probably have never known about, you know, real frontline fighting.
Gosh, maybe just the amount of combat some of these infantrymen saw. You know, some of these guys were in 100 gunfights over the course of a year. One gunfight is terrifying. Imagine 100. How elusive the enemy is, how hard he is to find. You know, he's a farmer one day with a shovel or a pick in his hand, and the next day he's planting IEDs, or he's picking up a rocket launcher or AK-47 and becoming a Taliban or ISIS fighter. And so I think, you know, you hear about that stuff, but you don't see it. You don't see it from their perspective when they're walking down an alley, and you know, there's people walking towards them. Some of them, you know, females dressed in complete burqas, but then the soldier doesn't really think that one walks like a female. Perhaps it's a male that's hiding in a burqa. And so you're going to get to experience things that you've never experienced.
And I know these are 2 series now. Do you plan on doing more of this? What are your plans for the future in terms of your involvement with the Army?
Well, you know, we've been hard at work on this project now for months, almost a year, and so going to take a little time off and then see how people like My Fighting Season, see if soldiers are happy with the result, and if they are, I'd be privileged to tell more of them. Yeah, it'd be my honor.
Excellent. And it's a 6-part series. You can be seen on Audience Network. That's right. And we thank you so much, Ricky, for being with us and speaking with us today and bringing to light what our men and women of the military do to protect us. Thank you so much.
It'll also be available for download soon. So
great. Excellent.
Yep.
All right. Take care.